one buzzword that's been flying around the place for a long time is AI. And when you say AI, most people imagine the sort of mythical creature that does things and that thinks for them and stuff. And it's actually just maths / statistics on steroids. It's basically a Pearson correlation on steroids, right? But the thing is that a lot of the work in the tertiary economy, which is sort of the latest value added layer that we added to the economy, is about humans processing information and then communicating it to other humans, which then translates down segments into the other segments of the economy as capital allocation decisions, right? If that makes any sense. So then, a lot of that can be done by AI in narrow domains. So maybe AI can't really pick the best asymmetric bets for the next 10 years, but then maybe it can figure out what to reply to someone in an office environment when X, Y, and Z happens. So that's a trend it's happening across the economy now slowly. I mean, I started playing around with AI in 2019, and just 3 years before that, the technology was starting to perform better than humans in some very narrow tasks. So this is a very nascent technology, very buzzy and so forth. But what's happening is all these Web2 platforms they're dominating, they seem to be dominating the world now. What they have is this data harvesting infrastructure, which is, I think it's going to be quite indispensable in many contexts. Not all the platforms are going to be indispensable, but I think a number of them are going to be. And what they're doing is they're bootloading AI for whatever area of the economy they've laid down the electron management infrastructure for. So if you look at something like Google, which by the way, I think data privacy is going to be an issue in the next 10 years. But if you look at something like Google, they have all these associations between data objects. I think it was something, I don't want to say the number because I'm not sure, but basically they just have this ontological structure of the world's data, right? And that's just bound to bootload probably one of the world's top AIs. If you look at Tesla, it's the same. Tesla looks like it's very much priced in, and it looks like it's, you're late to the success story, so to speak. But actually what they're doing is deploying an infrastructure that's picking up data regarding transport. And that's something that's going to be immensely valuable because, again, going back to the tertiary economy, and maybe this is more of a secondary economy thing, drivers, so transportation, all they do is process visual stimuli and then act accordingly and take decisions to steer left, steer right, accelerate and brake, right? So that all is going to be sort of eaten away by this technology. And what it's going to do is it's simply going to push humans further out into the creative noosphere, so to speak. So, maybe 2,000 years ago, we were gravely concerned with crops, and that was sort of the most valuable layer of the economy. And we've been getting pushed out by our own technology further and further into the more creative aspects. So I think that a lot of these assets that seem totally priced in today, Google, Tesla, stuff like that, I think in the next 10 years, they're going to behave asymmetrically. I mean, I don't think these companies are going anywhere but up. And this is happening across other platforms that are less obvious in this context, like Spotify, which we'll discuss in a bit. But I think AI is going to be one of these trends. And then the other one is going to be synthetic biology, because it looks like we've achieved sort of the pinnacle of technological achievement in the past 10 years, but actually we are biological entities. And so is the world that surrounds us. So actually, we have little agency over this world. And it's all sort of, it happens at the molecular level, and it's highly complex. And just navigating that space requires orders of magnitude more computational power than we have today, right? So synthetic biology is just about making stuff through biology. And as we figure out how to make stuff through biology, we learn enough to be able to program it, edit it, like we do with computers. And I think that's just brewing the next technological wave that's going to wow the world. It's going to definitely drive the GDP needle forward. And there's some very asymmetric investments in that sense that I've done in the past year that I'm very excited to talk about.